Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I hope that you're all doing well. And can you believe it's Thanksgiving week of 2024? Where does the time go? So amazing. We are almost done with this year. And I have something that I think is going to be helpful to you in this week of Thanksgiving. You know, who doesn't love bread? I love bread, especially when you're gathering with family, because you can do so many things with a wonderful warm loaf of something like a French bread. Now, you probably don't typically think of French bread for Thanksgiving, but think about it. Appetizers, cornbread stuffing. Well, it's not quite cornbread. But still, you know, you could use those leftover pieces of bread for bread pudding, all kinds of stuff. But this bread is so easy to make. It's pennies on the dollar. It was delicious and it's so impressive, especially again for something like family gatherings. You know, you could put this piece of bread out, slice it, and add you some salami and cheese and vegetables and fruit, and have a charcuterie plate out before your family comes. I can never say the word right, but you know what I mean. And have something really impressive before your family and friends come out and you guys take a part of the big family meal for Thanksgiving. It's such a great recipe and I had such fun making it, and I can't wait to put it together again. So I'm so excited to share this one with you. It is again my French bread or French roll recipe, pennies on the dollar, easy breezy, you can do it. You ready to see how it goes? Let's go. Okay, let's get started on this French bread. So I have self-rising flour, I have butter, salt, sugar, and quick rising yeast. We're also going to use a little bit of water and oil. So we'll talk about that later. All right, so here's our measurements. We are using 2¼ cups of self-rising flour. Self-rising flour is magic. You just kind of cut straight to the chase. You don't need the baking soda, baking powder. Everything is built in, and I'm telling you, you can get so creative with this stuff because it eliminates kind of the guesswork for you. To make my bread rise even more and add just a little bit touch of fluffiness or just add a bit of height, I'm using the instant yeast, and I'm adding 1 tablespoon of that, a tablespoon of sugar, and a dash of salt. That's what you saw me add there. For water, we're going to use approximately 1/2 cup. So I'm starting with about 1/4 cup to my dry mixture and just giving it a toss. So that is 2¼ cup of self-rising flour, a dash of salt, tablespoon of sugar, and 1/2 cup of water that we're just going to gradually add, and a tablespoon of the instant yeast. And I use the Fleischmann's, as you can see there. So with the instant yeast, you don't have to allow any time to rise, but I do anyway. Wishful thinking, you know. But seriously, you know, just give it a little time. I think it does help. Especially if you have a kitchen where you've preheated your oven. Okay, so once I add all the water and I've mixed it together, I'm going to ditch my spoon and then use my hands to start to create a dough ball. So gather all of the mixture and then just kind of mesh it together. Keep working the dough until you have solidified all of those dry ingredients. So there's not a lot of moisture because we didn't add a lot of water. So what you're going to have to keep doing is working the dough until you have one whole ball of dough. So that means just keep incorporating the dough into one ball. It's one total piece of dough. So just keep adding more to it. So you have it all together. So you'll see here every time I twist that ball of dough, I'm adding those loose particles of flour and incorporating it into my dough. And there's a lot of it, so you're going to be working at it for a little bit. And, you're going to have to use a little bit of elbow grease because it is a big ball of dough. Okay, so once you kind of have your dough all formed into a ball, not a circle ball, but an oval shaped kind of ball like you see here. What I'm going to do is add a little bit of oil to a brush and just kind of get the tops and the sides here. Because again, even though I'm using the quick rising yeast, I do want it to sit for a little bit. And honestly, I don't know if this was helpful or not, but I want it to be able to, again, just add a little bit more height to my French roll if I can. Now, I do believe that the oil that I added here allowed for my dough to be a bit crispy on the edges when I added it to the oven. And, nothing wrong with adding a little fat to your bread. So just a little bit here. I may have used a half a tablespoon of oil or so. But I'm going to go ahead and brush it because I don't want it to dry out or crack up on me or anything like that. So there it is before I place a towel over it. And I'm only going to let it sit for maybe a half hour. And we'll come back to it. And I'm going to pound it out again and get ready for it to go in the oven. There's my towel. So it sat for about a half an hour, and I think it got a little bit more size to it, not much. All right, so here we go. I'm going to pound it out a little more, and it's not too tough. It's a forgiving dough, so you do have to use elbow grease, but it's not too bad. So here you go. Just work it out. Now, I am going to use my rolling pin at some point because I want to get it to a certain size. And you'll see here, because in order to make the roll, the French roll, we're gonna do that. We're gonna roll it. And so I want to be able to get enough of a width to be able to do that. So again, just in my bowl here, I'm working it out, just to give me a bit of a pre-start. And, I'm going for it. Here's my Tyson moves. All right. Now, I have a cookie sheet, and I have parchment paper that I've added a little cooking spray to. And I'm going to add the dough to it. And I've done my best to kind of manually pound it out and get it to a size that I think is helpful. And you see the width of that dough there. You don't want it too thin, of course, because you don't want it to tear on you. I'm just going to spray my rolling pin just in the event that it sticks. I don't want it to stick, too bad. And I'm going to roll it out a bit because, again, I want to get some width to this piece of dough. And what we're going to do is roll it so that when it goes into the oven, it looks like a French roll. All right, there we go. Looks good. And it doesn't have to be perfect, I love it when it's like a rustic, piece of bread. And that's exactly what we're going for here. All right, now, there we go. Thumbs up. Looks good. We're going to roll it. That's my rolling language there. Rolling. All right, so there we go. We're rolling. Rolling. All right. Good. Now, you'll see that I'm going to add the seams down. So seam down. And that's what I'm going to do. Just tuck it in a little bit there at the bottoms. And we're going to ensure that the seams are faced down. Looks good. See, this is why I wanted to use my rolling pin so that we have some length to the French roll for that dough. All right. Now I'm going to go ahead and add an egg wash to the tops of this bread so that it is really pretty once it comes out of the oven. So I just cracked one egg and I am giving that a good beating, and I'm just going to add a couple of slits to the top of the bread here just so that it looks a bit, authentic when it comes out of the oven. Now, pro tip here, I went way too deep in these cuts. It should have just been an indentation, but I freaking cut through the dough and had a problem when I was slicing my bread. So don't be like me. So just make indentations, just dents. Don't cut like I did, because again, it was a problem when I went to slice my bread. But so there you are, and I'm adding my egg wash. And there we go. Looks great. Look how deep those cuts are. What the heck was I thinking? Now, if you had sea salt or something, this would be a really good moment to add that to the top of your bread. Who doesn't love salt and butter? Oh my gosh. All right. 375 preheated oven. And it went into the oven for about 35 minutes, honestly. Keep an eye on it. When it gets to the color that you want, pull it out. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Homemade French bread. Just in time for Thanksgiving. Huh? Wow. Look at that. Beautiful. Here we are at dinner. I am cutting me a fresh piece. Looks so good. Look at that. Smoking hot. It was nice and dense, but not too dense. Soft. Had some table butter there. I loved it. And this again, pennies on the dollar. Make your own, save your money, especially today in the grocery stores. Save money wherever you can. And I'm telling you, it was so good. You got to try it. It's a great recipe. And who knew it was this easy, and how impressive and beautiful to bring this to the table. Wasn't that easy? Oh my gosh, you gotta try it. It's just so fun to do something different. you know, and you have, I'm sure, you know, most of those ingredients right at home. That self-rising flour is everywhere. You could pick it up. I actually ordered that one from Walmart. No, actually I picked it up in the grocery store, but I was going to order it from Walmart because, you know, it's just so easy to get groceries delivered these days. And so you can find it everywhere, you know. Butter, salt, sugar, that instant yeast, again, something that's readily available. So I hope that you make it. If you do, let me know, and let me know what you thought about it, okay? All right, happy Thanksgiving. I hope that it is a wonderful one that you get to spend with your loved ones. I hope it's a blessed season for you and filled with abundance. All right, until the next video, guys, take care. God bless. Bye.